Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's been a minute, and I do apologize for that. It's just been kind of crazy around here. If you're familiar with the channel, do a lot of stuff on BMWs. If you're new, welcome. You will get your fill of BMW stuff, especially E46. That is, my passion. I've got the 2002 M3 Vert 6-speed manual, and my 330 Ci 5-speed manual. That's my autocross car. If you notice, it's up on the quick jacks. So get to that in just a minute, but been following along. Had a few parts cars here that have been taking up a lot of my time trying to get stripped down and out of here. Got a lot of the stuff gone. There's still a mess over here in the shop, and I gotta work this weekend to try to clean this stuff up, but won't bore you with that. Our main focus today is going to be on the 330 Ci. It's up on the quick jacks because after the last autocross event, she was dripping some oil everywhere. You see I've got the skid plate down, or the reinforcement plate down, and no drips on the floor. The only thing that I was able to see was the drain plug was sweating. I was leaking some horsepower. So tighten that up, degreased everything, seems to be good. But we do have some projects that I've been putting off. A while back, I picked up these LED taillights, and if you can tell by the way that it is, the right side isn't working at all. I don't have running or brake light at all on this side. This side's working fine. The turn signals do work both sides. This one was getting a little low on blinker fluid. She was up to about here or so, also leaking into the trunk. Had to actually drain the spare tire well, the battery box area. So I'm sure it died from water ingestion. One of my friends had another set, so we're gonna slap those in. I do have all new wiring for it, although pretty sure we just pop the tail light in and that's gonna take care of it. From there, I've also been having some clutch issues. Just a weird pedal feel, and right now the pedal's grabbing right off the floor. There's virtually no play. It just wants to grab and go. This is a stage 2 clutch. It's an eBay single mass flywheel kit from FX. Pretty much the same thing as Clutch Masters, I believe. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to change out the clutch line. I think I'm going to also change out all the brake lines. These are all stainless steel hoses from Condor Speed Shop. So I love that they're made in America. It's so hard to find any of that stuff here in the US anymore. And after that, because race car, I found another exhaust system. I have catless headers on this car, if you're familiar with it. It's a good sound, not too obnoxiously loud, but right now it's pretty much only driven for autocross. So this came up on Marketplace. It's a MagnaFlow with some really ugly carbon fiber tips. We're going to take those off and just see how that goes on. So the Borla muffler should be pretty nice. They deleted on one of the little resonators in here, but kept the factory big resonator, which is good. So it shouldn't be too raspy, shouldn't be too crazy. Maybe this was off of an M52 car originally. I'm not sure, because they've cut the tips off and reclocked them, but that should be the right orientation for my car. And then we can stab this on, see how that sounds. And what better way to start, but I want you guys to hear what the stock sound is like. It's totally cold start. I'll set you up and get it fired up here in a sec. Alright, so there's the cold start. Like I said, it's pretty tame. It's just a little louder than stock. It's not bad. You do hear the headers when you're on it. Pretty good. Plus, got the Group M intake. So that should be pretty fun to kind of swap that out, get a little bit more sound without being too crazy. And then I've got one other big announcement I want to make on the 330. I've got 1 week left of autocross, and then we're going to be starting a big project on here. And I'll tell you guys at the end if you guess it. But put down in the comments, this is a clue as to what we're doing. If you guys can figure out what that is, bleep bloop that down in the comment section as to what we're going to be doing with the 330 once the season is over. So I think the first thing we're going to do, I think we'll attack that clutch line first. I've got that plate down, easy access, and then we'll bleed that out real quick, and hopefully we can get the clutch feeling a little bit better. Well, would you look at that? They're both working. I haven't changed them. We still have the other two here. And as soon as I pulled the carpet back, here you can see all the harness that's involved in here. I totally forgot that I was having issues with this, basically not making contact or good contact, and it pulled out. And sure enough, when I came in here, that was popped off. And now we've got lights. I thought it was kind of funny that even if this did fill with water, which it might be hard to see on camera, but there is some moisture in there, that these would be out even though they're LED. So water, they shouldn't really care as long as the electrical was good. But we still do have a water leak. I don't know if I'm gonna tackle that today. I'll probably have to take this out, you know, unfortunately silicone, and then water test. So I'll do that off camera, but we do have our light working again on both sides, so we are good. We can skip that, and I'm gonna move on to doing that clutch line. All right, guys, got you under here. Here we can see where the hard line and the soft line for the clutch meet. That's bolted right to the side of the transmission. I've already removed the clutch delay valve. That's on there from factory, just kind of help smooth clutch engagement. I took that out when I did the clutch, so you don't see it there. We've got a 10 mil on the hard line and a 14 on the flexible. And then here, and here, kind of hard for you guys to see, I apologize. Here we go. Here we have the other end of that soft line where it mounts into the slave. There's just a quick disconnect pin. We'll pop that off, get the line down, and swap in the new one. I'm gonna go ahead and work on this connection first. Get that popped off. Got a drain pan under here for what's gonna drip down. I'm gonna use a line wrench first, if I can get on there, get a good angle, but it's not seeming like it. Or is it not a 10? It might be 11. Yeah, that's an 11. All right, after coming down here and back up 14 times, we finally got the right wrenches. The hard line is 11, and the flexible line on this side is 17. So let's go ahead and get this apart. It should come out because I've had this apart before. Oh, there we go, nice and easy. All right, once we got it cracked, just go to a regular 11 mil box wrench, and we'll just get this thing out. And it's gonna start dripping all over. Probably gonna go down my arm, and my armpit, so that'll be nice. All right, we got that out. We're just gonna let that drain for a bit, and I'll go pop the other end of the line off. We're gonna do a flush anyway, so. After far too long, we got the new one in. I just wanna show you the old one here. We've got the regular fitting here to the hard line, and this is what goes up in the slave cylinder. There's just a little E-clip that goes on here. Gotta be careful pulling it out because they do like to go flying. The issue that I was really having, so this line came with what I assume is for the clutch line. The problem is, and it's probably because I did the CDV delete, but the old line, this is a 17. The new line is a 13. And the problem is, where I have it joined, it wants to pull right through the rubber bushing. So I think these are supposed to go on, like this one's supposed to go on here. Well, it won't go on this one because it's a different, you know, this is the OEM line. But I think this is supposed to be a bushing to go on here to help keep that from pulling through. And this maybe is another one, or it's the other side. I don't know. I wasn't able to really find anything online. So I had to put a washer, and I'll kind of show you that here in a sec. So you see here, there's supposed to be a grommet, and like I said, this was just pulling through the grommet, so I couldn't actually get this tight. So I put a little washer there. The problem is there's not enough room with the washer to do that. I guess it's not a huge ordeal, although this now made this crush quite a bit. I'm really not happy with the fitment. but I'm thinking a lot of this is just because of that CDV delete. This line would actually mounted over a little bit, so that's probably the main issue. I mean, had they just made that fitting a 17 or even a 14, it wouldn't have pulled through. So I don't know, it's a mess, you know, that obviously I made, you know, doing that, and they're probably not expecting people to do that, but we are in. I'm not going to bleed yet because I need to change the hard lines or the flex lines on all 4 calibers, and this shares the same master cylinder, so no sense filling it up, trying to bleed this, and then opening up the bleeders on the other calipers and take the lines off. So we'll bleed everything all at once. So I'm gonna go ahead and start popping some tires off. We'll swap out these brake hoses with the stainless steel lines. Well guys, it is a whole new day. Despite getting the exhaust fit yesterday, it had to come down again because, well, things escalated. It just happens sometimes, you know. I was farting around more with this this fitting here. This is that stainless steel braided line that we put in yesterday on the slave cylinder, and as you'll see, it is now 2 pieces. When I went to bleed the clutch, now these things are self-bleeding, but I did want to just kind of let it gravity drain a little bit too. I noticed it was sitting funny. It was sitting kind of like that. And this nut was missing. The bottom one was only on 1 thread, and as I tried to undo the bleeder, it was moving around. And I've been having issues since I put the transmission back in earlier this summer. It was just a really weird pedal feel. It was all the way on the bottom, very little travel, and after one of my autocross runs, I came in and the clutch just felt absolutely awful, and I decided to just park it. Towed it back home. I had my trailer with me. Guess we found what the reason was. So this is spaced out and not getting proper engagement. As you press the pedal, it probably push this out and move it around a bit, make it feel really weird. So I popped this off, and the end was still attached, but it was at a really bad angle, and when I touched it, it fell into the transmission bell housing area. And I tried everything I could. There's a shield on this side of the engine, that shield. I peeled it back, trying to get to it, tried to see if I could see it through here, try to get it through the actual hole back here for the slave cylinder, and it was just all the way down here in the back. There was no getting to it, and honestly, I spent more time trying to fish that out than it takes me to actually drop the transmission. So the transmission's out. So obviously I got to replace the slave cylinder. You can put these back together, I don't know if you guys can kind of see, but the hole on this sealing ring is actually oblong. I'm not going to reuse it. And now that I'm looking at clutch, I'm seeing some scrapes and a bent finger or 2 here, probably from the install. So even though this clutch is in good shape, except for well, I guess it's not that bent. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that we replace it. These things aren't that expensive, about $350 for the whole single mass flywheel kit. The video I was mentioning before was I was having issues with some knocking noises. I wasn't sure if it was transmission or engine issues, and turned out to be loose flywheel bolts. We put it back in, and we were having some weird scraping noises on clutch engagement, disengagement, but I don't see anything. You know, there's no witness marks anywhere on the clutch pressure plate or the clutch disc. There was some scrapes probably from moving it around, but I think this scrape is from trying to get the trans in and out. So I think maybe we will just kind of hold off, and we'll order another one. And that kind of leads to, remember earlier in the video, I showed you a black pipe and asked if you could guess what it was for. And well, I guess we can talk about what that's for and what we're gonna be doing with this. I've had a ton of fun with this car. It's set up really well for autocross. I'm really happy with the power level. But it's mainly my autocross car now, and the issue with that is I'm in a class that no one else races in. To go to a different class, I'm not going to be competitive because the people in that class are 100 horsepower more than me. So the idea that I have, and I've already started the process, we're doing a turbo build. It's something I wanted to do for quite some time. So that's the plan. We are doing a turbo build on the 330 over the winter while I'm out of autocross. Unfortunately, because of that, I'm probably not going to make the last race, at least with the 330. We have a co-driver challenge this coming weekend, and then our champion of champion race. Unfortunately, the 330 does not look like it will attend. But you know, you can always take the M3, have a little fun with that. But yeah, I think the move from here is just start prepping this thing for the turbo build. I've got a bunch of stuff that is already on order. I've got the turbo. I'm just going to use a Max Speeding Rods turbo. Cheap China ones, they work really well. And as long as you have all the other supporting components, I've got a Spa turbo manifold coming. I've got better injectors, a Treadstone intercooler. We got a lot of things coming. So probably the next thing that you're going to start seeing on the 330 is the turbo build. I don't even know if I'm going to put the trans back in at this point. I may just pull the motor out and dress everything while it's out. And I also want to actually change this whole front radiator support. You can see it's all kind of rusty, crusty for being up in New York. And I have an extra one over here in the corner. Pardon all my mess in here, guys. This week we are going to work on cleaning all this crap up. But I got a really nice clean radiator support up there. I can pull the motor out. We can, you know, get the manifold fit, the turbo on, get our lines routed for cooling and oil. We can build all that stuff on the stand. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys stay tuned, you know, to follow that build. Make sure you're subscribed. We are building. This is going to be a really fun build, and I can't wait to show you guys. I am not a fabricator. I'm going to put that out there right now. So I'm going to have to figure some things out. I need to find someone local that can do some aluminum welding. I need a bung welded to the oil pan for the turbo drain. I'm going to need some help with downpipe fabrication, wastegate, that kind of stuff. Intercooler piping, most of that stuff, I can just use elbows for now. I think I'm going to do an M50 intake. It makes it a little bit simpler. And gets rid of that disavow, gets rid of the CCV. Just a bunch of things. So it will simplify the intake side anyways, doing the M50. Sorry guys, I'm rambling again. I'm just excited to get this project underway. I really wanted to kind of drive this thing around with the louder exhaust. I did start it and, you know, got a couple revs out of it, but I don't think it's worth stabbing this back in, especially when I probably need to upgrade this clutch. This is a stage 2, which says it's good for, I don't know, like 450 horsepower. That's kind of our goal for this turbo build, something that's reliable. I can drive every day. I can take it to autocross. I can beat on it, but not blow the car up. I just want enough to put a little tickle in my pickle when I go out in this thing and get that big old grin. So I think I'm gonna close this one out here, guys. I gotta get some parts going. There's really nothing more that I can show. I may tinker with these lines. I still gotta do the brake lines. I don't have my light over here, guys, I apologize. But this fitting is pretty stubborn. It's starting to twist the line, and that has already been replaced. But that's just some of the fallout from this being a New York car. You know, part of me wishes I had just sold it before I came down here and found a clean example, but it is what it is. It is really clean. There's just some things on this car that are a little rusty, crusty, that need some love. Again, just make sure you guys are subscribed, hit that like button so we can continue growing this channel. I can keep bringing some cool projects like this, and we will see you in the next one.